Hello and welcome to Beard Power. Today I have for you 101 of the best tips and tricks in Excel. These tips and tricks comprise of a multitude of shortcut keys, short but beneficial formulas, and some uncommon but awesome functions within Excel. In the interest of not wasting your time, I've added chapters on the bottom of the screen, also timestamps in the description. I have also separated the tips and tricks from beginner, intermediate, and advanced. If you see a green or grass pop up, this indicates it's for beginners. If you see blue water, this indicates it's for intermediate. And if you see red fire, this is for advanced Excel tips and tricks. I'll be running through these tips and tricks quite quickly. If applicable, I will add a link on the top right corner to other tutorials that I have made that cover these topics in more depth. I will also add links to these tutorials in the description below. Without any further ado, please enjoy my 101 tips and tricks in Excel. Starting with keyboard shortcuts for navigation. Instead of clicking all over the place, highlighting a range, and scrolling all the way down with your mouse, you can use keyboard shortcuts to move through the spreadsheet more efficiently. Click the Tab key to move one cell to the right. Use Shift Tab to go one cell to the left. Click the Enter key to go one cell down. Click the Shift Enter to go one cell up. You can also use your arrow keys to go in between your cells, so up and down, right and left. If you want to go to the very bottom of your spreadsheet without having to scroll all the way down, press Ctrl End. That'll bring you to the bottom right corner. If you want to go all the way back to the top, press Ctrl Home. And it brings you to cell A1. If you want to scroll through your spreadsheet one page at a time, you can press the page down key. To go back up one page at a time, press the page up key. If you want to go to the right, hold the Alt button plus the page down key. And Alt page up to go to the left. To go directly to the corner of your spreadsheet, press Ctrl period. And if you keep on pressing it, it'll bring you to all four corners. Also, if you want to go to the top or bottom, press Ctrl up arrow, Ctrl down to go to the bottom, Ctrl right to go to the right, and Ctrl left to go to the left. To highlight an entire column, press Ctrl Space Bar. You can see that I'm using a table right now, so it actually stays within the table. If you're not using a table, it'll highlight the whole thing. If you want to highlight the header as well, you need to press that Ctrl Spacebar again. To highlight an entire row, you can press Shift Spacebar. Another way to highlight a column is by pressing Ctrl Shift down. If you start in the middle and use the same one, it only highlights from that selected cell. And the same thing with row, Ctrl Shift to the right, and that highlights this whole row. If you're looking to highlight this portion here, instead of highlighting that whole section, you can press Ctrl Shift End. And the last but not least, if you want to highlight the entire spreadsheet, select Ctrl A, and that selects everything. Again, within a table, if you want the headers to be highlighted as well, you need to press that Ctrl A one more time. In this section, we're going to be looking at different text options. First thing I want to show you is copy and paste. We could type in everything, or we could copy it by pressing Ctrl C and pasting it by pressing Ctrl V. You can also use Ctrl X to cut something, and Ctrl V, as you can see, that's no longer there. You can take a step back and actually highlight that range of cells, right click in A1, go to paste options, transpose, click on that, and there you go. Now all your header names are in place. To properly delete all this, because it's no longer required, just press delete. There are other methods of getting rid of data, but I suggest you use that. Clean this up a bit, format paint, make them all the same, adjust the columns. Next three things I'm going to show you is how to bold, underline, and strike through. So if you highlight the header names, press Ctrl B, that will bold everything. If you want to underline it, you can press Ctrl U. So you can see everything's bold and underlined. If you want to remove those, just press them again. So Ctrl B, Ctrl U. And if you don't like any of it, you can press Ctrl 5 and that will strike through all the text. Again, if you don't want to strike through, press Ctrl 5 and it'll go back to normal. We have a header name here we want to add, so Ctrl C, Ctrl V. You can see that it comes with a different formatting. So I'm going to go Ctrl Z. Instead, right click and values only. You can see that it conforms to the proper formatting. Great way to save space on your header row is to rotate the text. Highlight your header row. Go to the Home tab. Within the arrangement group, you have this button here, Orientation. Click counterclockwise, and you can see it changes the orientation of the text. You can do customized, all kinds of different angles, and some more options. So we'll see how this looks if we format it a bit. And there you go. Nice clean look when applicable. In this section, we're going to be looking at some shortcut keys. So say we wanted to hide a few columns and some rows and then print it. What you can do is highlight those columns that you want to hide. Instead of right clicking and going to hide, you can press Ctrl 0. And if you want to hide some rows, you can highlight the rows and press Ctrl 9. Next I want to print this, so I'm going to highlight all my data. Go to the page layout tab. You can do that by pressing Alt P. Brings you right to the page layout tab. Then I want to set the print area. Print area is set, so we can go Control P, which brings you to the print preview page. That looks good. So I'm going to go back. I want to save this, so I can press Control S. And that's a quick way to save. Say I wanted this information on another workbook. I could highlight it all, copy, and click Ctrl N. Ctrl N opens up a new workbook. Paste that in. Save as Ctrl S. Save that workbook. I'm just going to call it test. If you want to close that workbook now, shortcut key for that is Ctrl W. And if you want to open it quickly, Ctrl O. Brings you to the open preview screen. Click that test. And there you go. You're back to it. One more quick one. To hide your ribbon, press Ctrl F1. You normally wouldn't do this. If you lose your ribbon, this is a great way to get it back. Simple formatting will draw and keep the attention of your viewer. So let's start off with some easy formatting tricks. As you can see, the header names are overlapping into different columns. There are a couple ways that we can rectify this. First, you can click within the cell, click in between the text, press Alt Enter, and that will make a line break. I don't suggest using this method to fit the text within your cell. Reason being is that it can affect the data analysis down the road. So another way, and the more preferred way to do this, is to highlight the header row and go to wrap text. Next, we're going to adjust the column width and the row height. So you can go in between two columns. You can see this little bar with two arrows pointing in opposite directions. You can click and drag that. Or you can go in between two columns and double click. That will auto adjust the text to the longest one in the column. And if you want to do that, you can highlight all the columns and double click. Another way to adjust the columns is to highlight all the working columns, right click, go to column width. If you know the general column width that you want, you can type that in. I'm going to go with 10, press OK. And if you have some that still overlap, you can double click and make them fit. Next, we're going to look at the numbers within columns F, G, and H. I want these numbers to be shown as a date, so we're going to highlight a column. And then I'm going to use the shortcut Control 1. That brings me to the Format Cell pane. Go to Date. I'm going to use this one. Press OK. Changes those numbers to a date. I like to do the same thing in column G and H. So when I change the number format to a date format, so this time we're going to be using Format Painter. So the first step, you want to click in a cell that has the date format already. Go to the Format Painter in the Home tab. In the clipboard group, click that. Highlight the section that you want to change the formatting in. And it changes the number format to a date format. Next, I'm going to show you another formatting option. If I want to highlight Mike Williams' name, I would click in that cell, go to fill color, click that. And if I wanted to go to the next name, I don't have to go right back to fill color. I can press F4. Do that for the next two. F4 repeats the last formatting action that you took. If you don't want these four names highlighted, you can press Ctrl Z. Next, we're going to look at freeze pane. When we scroll down, we want the header to stay in place. So to do that, you go into the View tab, go to freeze pane. In that drop down, you can freeze the top row. And now you can see that our header row stays in place. If we unfreeze that, and we want the header row and the full name to stay in place, we can click in D2, go to freeze pane, and now our header row is in place and our full name is in place. So if you scroll down, header stays there. If we scroll to the right, the C column stays in place. The next thing I want to do is change my data within the spreadsheet into a table. So you can highlight everything, go to the Insert tab, click Tables, make sure my table has headers is on, click OK, or you can press Ctrl T, brings you to the same spot. Press OK, and now we have a table. There are many benefits to using a table within Excel. I'll be covering this in a separate tutorial in the future. I'm going to take a couple of minutes right now to format this table to make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, so bear with me. Next, I want to group column F, G, and H and be able to hide and show these columns with one click. The best way to do that is to highlight these three columns, press Shift Alt arrow key to the right, and that gives you a group. So if you click this little minus sign, it hides it. If you click the plus sign, it opens it. In this section, we'll be discussing data analysis. To start us off, we are going to add filters to our spreadsheet data, so we can highlight the header row, go to your Home tab, in the editing group, click Sort and Filter, click on the filter, and now we have filters. The shortcut to that is Ctrl Shift L. To use filters efficiently, you need to know what your question is. My question is, out of the positions, I want to know how many journeymen have their lotto training. So I'd go into the position filter and click just the journeyman. That brings up all the journeymen, and that's it. And then go into lotto training and click just the yes button. Click OK, and that gives you all the journeymen that have their lotto training. Another way to filter your spreadsheet quickly and efficiently is to use slicers. To do that, click within your table, go to the Insert tab, click Slicers in the filter group. This gives you a list of all the header names. So we want positions and lotto training. Once you have those clicked, press OK. This makes two different slicers. We're going to drag that to a better location. So now we want to know who is a journeyman. So click that. And who has lotto training. Click yes. This shows all the journeymen that have lotto training. Next, I'm going to show you how to locate a cell via text. To do that, you're going to press Ctrl F. That brings you to the Find and Replace menu. So I want to find all the cells that have safety in it. So I'll type in safety, press find all, and you can see that comes up with 2 cells. You can see right here, there's one of them. If you press next, it brings you to the next one. Now I'm going to show you how to find and replace text within a cell. To do that, you're going to press Ctrl H, and I want to change all the cells that say safety and change it to HSC. Then you just press replace all, and 2 replacements were made. So you can see where safety was before, it is now HSC. Next, we want to find and remove duplicates. So to find duplicates, we can highlight a column, go conditional formatting, highlight cell rule, duplicate values, put it in red. At a quick glance, you can see that we have 3 duplicates. To remove them, we can go Ctrl A, go to the Data tab, click Remove Duplicates in the Data Tool group. We want all the columns selected. Click OK, and the 3 duplicates have been removed. Next, we're going to look at pivot tables and the quickest way to get one. So you click within your table, go to the Insert tab, click Recommended Tables, and this gives you a bunch of recommended pivot tables. So you can click it, press OK, and you have a pivot table ready to go. The next one that we're going to look at is quick analysis for conditional formatting. To do that, I'm going to highlight the column Lates, go down to this button down here, which is quick analysis. Click that. As you can see, we have all the top conditional formatting formats. I'm going to use icon sets. That gives a good visual representation of that column. So if we want to do that again, highlight the column, and I'm going to use data bars this time. Next, we're going to look at a great tool called Analyze Data. You can find Analyze Data in the Home tab all the way to the right. So you can click this icon. This brings up a multitude of different options for charts, pivot tables, and pivot charts. I'm going to click Show All Results and scroll down to find a pivot chart that works for our data. This one looks good, so I'm going to click the plus sign to add it. It adds a separate tab that gives us a pivot table with a pivot chart. This is a great visual representation of the data. As you can see, the journeymen have a notable higher absence than all the other positions. Next, we're going to do a quick spell check. So you need to highlight the range of cells that you want to do a spell check in. I'm going to do positions. Press F7. As you can see, I misspelled safety, so it gives us a suggestion. I'm going to change all, and there you go. Next, I'm going to show you how to do a quick translation. So click within a cell, go to the Review tab, go to Translate in the language group, and that will translate it from English to French, or whatever other language you so desire. In that same tab, we have thesaurus. So in the notes, we want to say that Cam Luck is good. If we want to find a better descriptive word, we could go to the thesaurus and find something that's a little bit more descriptive of Mr. Cam Luck. And we can say that he was very skillful. Alright, so we can copy, paste that. And now instead of good, we can say that Cam Luck is skillful. In this section, we're going to be looking at some quick and easy formulas to make your life a lot easier. First, we're going to start off by trying to count all the blanks in this column. As you can see, we can count there's 1, 2, 3. But if you can imagine 20,000 lines, this would come in handy. So if you type in equals count blank, open parentheses, highlight that range, close it, press enter, and it counts 3. If you want a count of all the cells that are not blank, you would type in equals count A, open brackets, highlight that range, close it, press enter, and there you go, we have 8. Now that we found those blanks, we can fill them in. I actually want the sum of all these columns, so I'm going to get rid of the 2 formulas that we just did. So to get the sum of that column, you can go equals sum, open bracket, highlight that range, close it, enter, and that gives you the sum. Or you could go Alt equals, and that does the exact same thing. I'm gonna pull that formula over, and there you go. Next, we want to see how many days have been worked. So here's our start date, 16th of January, and we want today's date. So the easiest way to do that is press Ctrl semicolon. That gives you today's date. Another way you can do that is equals today, open and close brackets. The difference between these two is one is a formula and one is text. So this one has the date and it will stay that date. If you use this as a formula, it will change every day. I don't use this one very often, but if you want the current time, you can go Ctrl Shift semicolon, and that gives you the time. Getting back to the days worked, we're going to take today's date minus the start date. So we'll go equals today's date minus the start date equals 15 days. We'll copy and paste the values down. If we want to get a total cost per position, we'll go equals cost per day multiplied by the days, and we'll copy that down. And going back to getting a full total, we'll use Alt equals for a sum of that column. If you'd like to see all the formulas that we just used, you can click Ctrl tilde. For those of you who do not know what the symbol tilde is or where it is, it's a squiggly line right below your escape key on the top left corner. And if you click it again, it'll bring you right back to where you were. This job was a little bit different. We needed to add 6 different positions. I want those positions to be right here. So what you could do is you can go to the Home tab, go to the cell group, and select Insert 6 times. Or a better way that you do that is highlight 6 rows and press Insert. So now we'll add those positions. Copy down the formulas. Want this all to be 15 days. And there you go. Everything changes and is auto updated. If you want to hide this data without hiding the rows, you can highlight it. Go Control 1. That will bring you to the format cells. Go down to custom. In type. Type in semicolon 3 times. Press OK, and that hides it. If you click within that cell, it will show you what it is. I have a scenario here where we have counting all the missed days. So we have a bunch of minus numbers. We want the sum to not show as a minus, but the actual total of missed days. Again, Alt equals gives us a sum. So you see minus 30 days. I just wanted to say 30. So to do that, you just put a minus sign in front of the sum formula. And there you go. Gives us a 30, not minus 30. The next section we'll be looking at is splitting and combining text within a cell. First example we're going to use is to combine the first name and the last name into a full name. I'm going to use one of my favorite formulas, mainly because I love saying it, concatenate. So I'm going to go equals, concatenate, click the first name, comma, in brackets, we want to make a space in between the first and last name, comma, and B2, which is the last name. Close the brackets, and there you go. We have Cam Luck. Okay, so we can drag that formula down by clicking this little cross here. Drag it all the way down. And there you go. We have everyone's full name. Another way to do that is press equals, click A2, ampersand, get that space in there, then you ampersand again, click B2, and press enter. Drag that formula down. This time we're going to just double click, and see it did the same thing. And the last way is to type the name, Cam Luck, click that cell, and press Ctrl E. And there you go. Excel does the work for you. Next, we're going to go in the opposite way. So we want to split the text. So we want to go from full name to first and last name. So we can highlight all the full names, go to the data tab. Within the ribbon, go to text to column, delineate, press next, click space. So anywhere there's a space, it's going to delineate. Go next. We want the designation to be F2, not E2. That way it doesn't overlap from our full name. Press finish. Okay. And there you go. You have all your first names and all your last names. The other way to split text in Excel is again to type in the first name, type in the last name, Ctrl E, and Ctrl E. And again, Excel does work for you. Next, I have 3 great formulas for you. So you can see we have a list of names that have a bunch of unwanted spaces. You can see that the capitals and small letters are all over the place. So what we can do here, equals trim, open brackets, click the cell, close it. This will get rid of all the unwanted spaces. We'll do the same over here. We'll go equals proper, open brackets, click the cell, close the brackets. This will give you the proper text. So capital first name, capital in the last name, all lowercase everything else. If you want a all-in-one, you can go equals trim, open bracket, proper, open another bracket, click the text, close it, select yes, click down, and there you go. This is what the full names are supposed to look like. Also, you'll notice that I have an equal signs in the beginning of this header. This is only possible because I added an apostrophe before the equal sign. If you don't do that, it will assume that it is an equation and it will give you an error message. In this section, we're going to be talking about different tips and tricks for sheet tabs. So the first one I want to show you, we'll click into that tab, press Control page down. That will bring you to your next tab to the right, and it'll continue to toggle over every time you press it. If you want to go to your previous tab, so the one to the left, press Control page up, and it goes to the left. Another quick way to find the tab that you're looking for is to click in this section over here. So right click, and you can find a tab very quickly. So click that, press OK, and it'll bring you straight to that tab. Next, we're going to look at how to color a tab. So I'm going to go to tab color, change the color, and this is just a great way to differentiate your tabs and to group them. On the note of grouping your tabs together, if you want to move your tabs around, you can click and hold that tab, and you see that little arrow, it'll move it to that section. So I'll move them all over. Now we have all the red together, all the green together, and all the yellow together. Another way that we can move tabs within the spreadsheet is to right click one of the tabs, go to move and copy, and if you want to move it to the end, you can click there and move to the end. And you can see it's moved it to the end. Say we want to move this tab to a completely different workbook. We can do the same route, go to move or copy, click to which book you want it to go to, want to go into a new one, and if you click OK, that will move that tab to a different sheet. But if you click this little button here, create a copy, it'll keep that in that sheet and create a new copy. So we'll try this out. Click OK, and there you go, we have a new spreadsheet with that tab in it. Here's another nice little trick. If you want to toggle between your workbooks, you can click Control Tab. And you can see we moved from one workbook to the other. Say you want to make a copy of this tab, you can do the same route. You go move or copy, create a copy, move that to the end, and you've made a copy. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to show you a shortcut. So if you press and hold Control and click and drag that to the end, it makes a copy as well. In this section, we'll be looking at inserting pictures and hyperlinks. First, we'll look at how to insert a picture into Excel. So you go to the Insert tab, go to Pictures, to the drop down, click this device, find it within your computer, click and insert. And there you go. You can resize it as you like. Perfect. Another way to insert a picture is to use a screenshot. Back to the Insert tab, you use a screenshot. Gives you just this screen. But if you go to screen clipping, I have just one screen up right now, so you can take that screenshot. And there you go. Another successful picture inserted into Excel. So you can actually hyperlink something to these pictures. I want to hyperlink the nav tab to this picture. I'm going to right click, go to link, go to link to, place in this document, click navigation. It'll bring me to cell A1, click OK. So now if I click that picture, that will bring me right to that tab. Next hyperlink that we're going to look at is to link this picture to the web. So I'm going to right click, go to link, go to existing file or on the web, click down into the address box here, and I'm going to insert my URL. Now if we click that, it will bring me to my Beard Power homepage. If you don't want to use pictures for hyperlinks, but you want a hyperlink button, you can do that by going to the Insert tab, click Shapes, select one, click into your spreadsheet, reshape it, click inside, and write in what you want it to say. So I'm going to go Nav tab, just going to adjust it, center, a little bit bigger. Then you right click on that shape, go to links within this document, nav A1, and when you click it, it'll bring you right there. And now we're going to look at a function to convert measurements. For this one, you go equals convert, open brackets. We need a number, so we'll use that one. We want to go to meter. So 1 meter equals how many feet? And it worked. We'll try it again. Equals convert. One meter. Comes up with all the associated measurements to that. So we're going to go yards. Enter. 1 meter equals 1.09 yards. And for gallons to liter equals convert 1 gallon. And then we'll compare that to liters. Enter. And there you go. 3.78 liters per 1 gallon. We're going to look at how to insert an emoji into your formula. So I want this to be a thumbs up if the total is over 100 and thumbs down if it's under 100. So we're going to use an if statement. So we're going to go equals if, open brackets, the total, in this case is B27, is greater than 100, comma. Next argument is what happens if it's true. We want to add quotation marks, go to the emoji dashboard. The way to get there is by pressing Windows semicolon. So I want a thumbs up. So now you can see that we have a thumbs up in our formula. Quotations, comma, some more quotations. Open up that emoji dashboard. We want a thumbs down, quotation marks, and close your brackets. And there you go. Now we have a thumbs down because it's less than 100. I'm going to drag that formula over. And perfect. So we have, if it's less than 100, thumbs down. If it's greater than, we have a thumbs up. Next, we're going to look at how to make a people graph within Excel. So first you need to go to the Insert tab. Within the add-ins group, you have people graph. Click that, you get a little box here, gives you an example of how it could look. I'm going to move it over. Once you click in, you got this little data icon. Click that. This allows you to select your data and give a name. So I'm going to give it a name of number of employees. And now I'm going to select the data. So I want the projects and the number of people within the projects. Select create. And now it gives you a people graph. You can adjust to make sure it fits all your data. You can also go to this little gear icon. So settings, you can select the type, change that. You can change the theme, change it to this theme. And you can change the shape to whatever you want. We'll go to this one, and there you go. Now you have a people graph. So we're going to do another one just to kind of tell a story. So we'll move this one over here. Select the data. This time we're going to call it total profit. We'll select the data. So here's the data over here. It's very important that you know that it works off of 2 columns. So here we got the projects and the total profit. So click create. Same thing. That gives you another people graph, but this time we want it to show the money. So we're going to change the shape. And we'll change the theme so it fits. And there you go. Tells the story. Now we're going to look at taking a number and changing it into a Roman numeral. So the easy formula for that is equals Roman. Open bracket. You can either type in the number, or in this case, I'm going to use A1, close bracket, press enter. I'm going to copy the formula down. And you can see that it worked. We have Roman numerals for each number. Next, I'm going to show you 2 ways on how to make a drop-down list in Excel. So I want this list of positions to show up in the form of a drop-down list in this cell. So to do that, I click in that cell. Go to the data tab, go to data validation, click that. In the allow box, click list. In the source box, click this little arrow, highlight that list, click enter, OK. Now if you go back to that cell, you can see now we have a drop down list. I'm going to go with general foreman. The other one is slightly easier. That is, if you push Alt down arrow, it gives you a list of all the previous inputs of that column. So then I can go journeyman and it shows up. In this section, we'll be looking at how to get data from the web, how to use data types, and also how to use that data that we get and put it into a map. Step 1, we want to get data from the web. So we want to go to the data tab, go to from web, click that. It's asking you for a URL. So I have a website in mind. So I'm going to copy that URL and paste it in. Now this will show you all the tables that reside on that site. And this is the one I want. So click load. And it makes a table for us. So we have all the provinces. I actually want the provinces and the territories. If we go back to that website, you can see that here's the provinces. I also want the territories. So I could do the exact same thing and get data from the web. Instead, I'm going to copy and paste that information in. You can see that didn't work. You may have come across this issue before, trying to copy and paste from different documents or from the web, and it shows up like this. I have a good little hack for that, so I'm going to delete that. If you go into your quick access toolbar, more commands, go to all commands, and go down to paste and keep text only. Add that to your quick access toolbar, press OK. Now you can see it shows up in my quick access toolbar. Press that and it works. Now that we got the data from the web, you can see that we got the provinces, largest city, official language, and the area in kilometers. I also want to add the population per province. So instead of going to find that on the web, there's another way. Highlight the province row, go to the data tab, go to geography. I got one issue here, I'll fix that right away. Okay, now that's all linked to the web. So if you click in a province in that column, it brings up this little tab here. So you can add a column, and those columns give you multiple different options. You got largest city, images, got the population. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to click that. And that gave us the population. Perfect. Next, we want to take all this data into a map chart. Go to Insert. Highlight that table. Click Filled Map. And then you can see it comes up. So we can click and drag that map to where we want it. Make it considerably bigger. As of right now, you can see all the largest cities. If you want to see that on the map, you can click in the chart, click the little plus sign, and click on data labels. So the next thing I want to do is actually get the population per province. So to do that, I'm going to right click into the chart, select data. So I don't need the largest cities, so I'm going to delete that. And same for the next two. Press OK. Now you can see the population per province in the map itself, which is great. Next, we're going to look at how to utilize slicers with the chart. So we're going to go to the Insert tab, highlight your table, click Slicer. So we want to go by province, and we'll also go by official language. So that brings up two slicers. We'll pull those over. Okay, so now if we want to, we can go to Ontario, and it brings up Ontario all by itself. We can go to a territory, Yukon, brings that all by itself. Back to Alberta, that shows that, so we can clear the filters. If we want to see all the English-speaking provinces, it'll pull that up, and you can see it still gives us our population. If you click within your chart, go to Chart Design, you have some different options here. You can go to different layouts of your chart. You can use different colors, and it gives you a different feel of that chart. I'm going to be completing an in-depth tutorial on this in the future. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it and subscribe. In the comments section below, let me know what your favorite tip or trick was. Also, let me know if there's a tip or trick that you use that I did not cover. And as always, have an excellent day.